Hey, Optivcon, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to give this talk on Zero Trust. My name is Danny Akatsuki, and I am a Splunk Senior Security Specialist. And yeah, we're going to chat a little bit about Zero Trust, what it is, and why you should even care about it. First things first, why should you care about me talking to you? Who am I? As I said, my name is Danny Akatsuki. I come from a career as a security practitioner on the blue team, right? I've been primarily in the threat hunting space for about the past 10 years. I did regular purpose IT for about 10 years before that. And now I find myself as a security specialist here at Splunk. And what does that mean? I take all that 10 years that I did being, hands on keyboard and threat hunty things and security things, and I help educate, not only giving talks like this outside, but I talk to our sales, I talk to our field, I talk to a lot of different people about a lot of different things, about mostly how to explain security, because we tend to use a lot of high-handed words and things like that. So I like to talk more casually. So hopefully something within this presentation is of interest to you. I'm also a wannabe power lifter, which actually tracks really well with my choice of careers, because I just keep lifting heavy things over and over again, hoping for it to get easier. So what am I talking about? Why are you sitting here for the next 15 minutes? And now for 13 minutes. Wow, I talked for 2 minutes already. Well, I got asked to, hey, talk to Optivcon about Zero Trust. So cool. Let's go beyond just the words, right? Let's go beyond the marketing. Let's go beyond the shiny packaging. What does Zero Trust actually mean to practitioners? Because as I said, that's where I come from. I come from product teams. I come from internal enterprise teams. I've been both in purchasing authority, and I've been on the phone call to decide what vendors we go with. So we're going to figure out what this actually means to the people who are actually handling your security on your teams. I'm going to talk a little bit about how Splunk does it, how we help customers get to start and do a Zero Trust journey. And this is not the first time I'll say this. Zero Trust is not an end state. Zero Trust is more of a philosophy. It's things that we as practitioners have been screaming about for years, and now is actually maybe starting to get some traction. Talk to you about a couple of use cases. And listen, this whole thing is going to be really useless if I don't leave you with some after action resources, right? Some papers, I got a book for you to read, things that you can do after I am done talking. And if what I said rings true with you, stuff that you can do if you're an executive, action that, give it to your teams. That's what I want to leave you with, and then hopefully I accomplish my goal. So this was a quote from one of my friends who knows a lot about Zero Trust and the whole philosophy behind it. And this really goes to underscore, in however gross manner that it is. Like, I don't understand anybody who would be into this, but I'm not here to shame. It is a complicated topic. It is a very old topic, and anybody who thinks they can wrap it up for you in 15 minutes is doing you a disservice. So I'm giving you a primer, and I'm giving you hopefully a lot of things to think about. And I honestly, if this is the end game with this tweet, I don't want to explain to you in 15 minutes. I could probably do without this. But first, let us go to the curmudgeons, those of us who see shiny marketing terms and think, yeah, okay, not again. So I went out on my Twitter, love Twitter. Twitter is my favorite security resource ever, has been for a decade. And I said, okay, let me just put this out. I'm without hope or agenda. I am going to put out this question to people who might follow me or might see it otherwise. When you, talking to the masses, security practitioner, see the term Zero Trust, what's your first reaction? I wonder what they said. Oh, good, this again. Did someone in sales just attend their first webinar? Off to a great start. Now's a really good time to visit Splunk.com for all of our security offerings. Sorry, but I don't have purchasing authority, says my friend Sam. That's cool. We're going to scan your badge just in case you ever do have purchasing authority. And the thread went off it went off the rails pretty quickly. So I don't know. Let's see what else they say. I'm not even gonna click show. I'm pretty sure my Splunk lords wouldn't want me to click show. But now, through all of their curmudgeonness and the snark, which is what we're really good at, this is my friend David, who incidentally was the person to give me that quote of, if you can explain this in 15 minutes, I'll wash your feet with a steak. We have to work through some issues with David. However, the most important part here is, I think, that middle tweet of how it actually works at a very high level in 2 sentences. We're not at a point now where just having a VPN and logging in and getting access to all the things is the way to do it, or even the safest way to do it, or the most efficient way to do it. So I'm going to try to explain it as best I can. David, incidentally, if you didn't know, there is a Fortinet Ultimate Fabric Challenge, big competition. David and his team won it last year. Not only did they get enough points in the US, they beat everybody else in the entire world. So he actually knows a thing or two. And at the very end of this, I actually did I interviewed David on my own Twitch podcast stream. So what I can't relate to you in 15 minutes, maybe you get something out of that hour that I did with him, and I will share that link later on in the presentation. Yeah, cool, fancy words, nerd. What's it all mean? Well, we're going to talk about what it all means. And again, I want this to be as actionable as possible. And what is more actionable than numbers? Because the numbers talk. Listen, even if the security industry as a whole wasn't moving towards a natural evolution of a zero trust, locked down philosophy, 2020 forced all of our hands in this, because now, at a much accelerated pace than I think a lot of people were ever really planning to do, if at all, you have your users working from everywhere, including using their own devices to do it. 1.4 billion 5G devices by 2023. 220 times growth. When I was first starting out as just a baby security analyst, everything was on-prem. You even mentioned cloud, you weren't getting that deal because people were scared of it. They were scared of, oh, what's the cloud? I mean, and listen, let's be honest, cloud is just somebody else's computer. But people were really reticent about it. Whereas now, cloud is the new destination, and it is the internet is the new connectivity layer. But what does that actual journey look like, right? What's it going to look like? First of all, there's going to be an investment on your part. You can't just say, hey, is this just like a thing we can turn on with a switch or a toggle? No, because you have legacy architecture that's not going to play well or at all with a cloud native, zero trust, really locked down philosophy. And this is not the first time that I'm going to say this in this presentation. It is not a one-stop thing. It is not a one-stop product. And now you're going to introduce a vastly expanded attack surface. You can have things like users bypassing VPN. Like, these are all risks. I'm not saying this is the thing that's going to happen every time, but these are risks you have to take into account. And if you do the things you've always done, these risks are going to be much greater for you. And also, you're going to have a lot of issues with identity and access management. By the way, if you're an executive, if there was like one technology that I would recommend you getting your security team up to speed on and getting good with, because it takes a long time, it is identity and access management. It is a pain, but it is powerful. And of course, through all of this, you need that visibility into what's happening, because you have to control that access, right? Control is the name of the game. If there was one circle on this whole thing that mattered the most, it is controlling access. That's what the zero trust is. It's controlling the access to a much granular level. Then you have to monitor and you have to analyze and automate what you can out of all of that, so your team can move forward further down the line or up the hierarchy in that zero trust philosophy. I keep calling it a philosophy because zero trust isn't a SKU. And I don't care who tells you that it is. No one company solves this because it's not an end state. It is a journey. So if you take nothing away from this presentation, remember that. Because it takes the things that you have to do have to work with your existing stack. This isn't rip and replace. You're going to need to replace some things, but it's not just a one-stop box. And don't ever let anybody tell you that it is. Even at Splunk, we don't believe that it is, right? It's not a one-stop shop. However, we recognize the importance. We get questions about it all the time. And our job as specialists, as strategists in the security ecosystem of Splunk is to help you get there, is to help you get a little closer to it. So we actually have a paper, which I'll link to at the very end, that is our Splunk security data analytics journey. And listen, these cool steps and these colors, these aren't new, but with the push for zero trust, it's letting us talk about it with more urgency now. These are things that as analysts we've screamed about for years. Collection, expansion, all the way up to that advanced detection. And even us, we have a lot of cool stuff. As a security practitioner, I love working at Splunk. We have such good tech, and we have so many smart people. But even us, you're not going to see us come with a single SKU because we have a variety of things that help with this. We have Splunk SOAR, which was formerly Splunk Phantom, ITSI, Splunk ES, Splunk user behavior analytics, right? This is just a little bit of the stack that we have to help with this. And it has interoperability with other technologies, which I'm going to cover actually right now in the use cases. So we had actually partnered with Zscaler, right? This is what a workflow in the cloud, just to give you a very high level idea of what this looks like, of zero trust mixed with that analytics and detection. New files are sent to a sandbox. You tear them apart, look at them, configure to allow and scan, and then SOAR and Zscaler can identify all the machines that may have touched it and automatically stop that spread. And then you have Splunk SOAR that's going to take all of those metrics, right? Look up the reputation, hunt for all of that on all of your endpoints, all of your computers, right? This is all automation. This used to take hours, if not days, right? But this is all a part of that zero trust journey in the cloud. And then it's going to create a ticket with all that information for your entire team. And then of course you have the cloud to cloud logs. I say, oh yeah, but of course, maybe you never heard of this. So this is why I'm talking about it. To proactively hunt for those threats lurking through your enterprise. And again, automatic, as important as it is for me to leave you after this presentation with additional resources, it's the same thing with automatic remediation. So you can automate that stuff so your team can go and do new and important things. I'm getting close to the end, very close to the end of my presentation. So I'm going to leave you with the big picture. And this is perfect. I love this. By the way, if you are an executive who's not necessarily like interested in security Twitter or whatever, I guarantee that your people are, your security operations center people are. They know about Swift on Security, hands down the best security account on Twitter. They say, for the record, zero trust is a real thing. And I believe that now, and I'm the biggest curmudgeon that there is. It's a real thing we've been screaming about for a very long time, but it's a philosophy. It's not an end state. It's an architecture, and it's not product based. You can't just flip a toggle. You can't go back to your team and be like, hey, turn on zero trust. Why aren't we doing that yet? It takes time, it takes planning, it takes understanding, and it takes investment into your people to get there. But I really like this middle one. Again, frankly, I think we need some kind of, even if it's nebulously understood, framework for pushing forward that fundamental change. These are not new things. These are not new ideas that we're talking about. We've been, like, as I mentioned, as a practitioner, we've wanted people to take this seriously for years. And hopefully now with the advent of campaigns like Zero Trust, that pushes it a little more forward. And as promised, a whole bunch of follow-up resources about Zero Trust, including a Splunk blog by James Young. This book that I have the cover of right here is incredible. Even if you are an executive who doesn't actually want to read about security stuff or whatever, it is pretty technical. Give it to your people. Buy a whole stack of these and say, everybody go read this and then tell me what you learned. It is an incredible book. We also have a paper for Splunk Essentials Guide to Zero Trust. Google has a phenomenal white paper on Beyond Corp. And I actually have my own Twitch channel. It's a streaming podcasting thing. And I interviewed my friend David, who I've mentioned a couple of times and who is the winner with his teammate of the Fortinet Global Fabric Challenge. And I actually just sat down with him for an hour on my Twitch channel and talked about Zero Trust. Much more detail than I could go into here in 15 minutes, but all those links will be available for you, and I hope you enjoy them. So thank you for listening to all my pontifications on Zero Trust, and have a great day.